fine. Why? Maybe it was with my Google. Sorry. I got signed out of Tubi, so give me a second.
I
Okay,
refuse to sign into Tubi because I don't want Tubi tracking the garbage that I watch on there.
Can you watch it without being signed in?
Yeah, I'm not signed in right now, and I've got Bats pulled up.
Oh.
You've been giving away your browsing data for no reason for the entirety of the rebooted Stevecast.
That is correct. That is a true story and a thing that has been happening. Oops. Oh, well. Whatever. They know they think I have really shitty taste in movies. But then, who on Tubi's on there, trying to find their Criterion collection?
All right, ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just leave all of this in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Stevecast. I should put this over onto the main screen so I can look at Rachel when I'm talking. I am Steve, joined as usual by Rachel.
Hey, I'm so excited to be back.
And once again, absolutely no one else, because no one wants to do this with us. Eventually, Rachel, we're just going to have to give up on the dream of having a third again.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Stood up. We stood up.
We did. Someone decided that they had better things to do, like sleeping after a hard day of work, which is bullshit. Come on.
Bullshit.
Get your head in the game.
Are we becoming that weird creepy couple at the bar that's sending people over trying to get them to be our unicorn?
I define unicorn in this scenario.
Like the third party for the evening.
That's what I think. It's did you just compare us to like swingers, trying to find a friend at the bar? I think you did. Okay.
I started to feel a little bit like that. We keep being and everyone's nay.
We had a friend at the bar. And then the bad day at work, he had to go to sleep. That's fine. I guess it's fine. Borp, we love you and forgive you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Speak for yourself. I'm furious.
Okay. Rachel says, "Fuck off and die." So I don't know. So tonight we're watching Bats. Last month, I had this epiphany that I have been lying to myself for years and years and years about my knowledge of
LDP
Lou Diamond Phillips movies. And I had Rachel, you weren't on this, but I had another very similar thing just last night, recording something with Matt for an upcoming show called Full Moon Fridays. And Matt wants to cover various full moon movies, and he wanted to start with Subspecies. And I was like, yeah, I've seen Subspecies before. I've definitely seen Subspecies. I've never seen Subspecies. And so how far does this rabbit hole go? How long have I been gaslighting myself into believing that I have seen things that I haven't seen before? I don't know. I have definitely not seen Bats. And so
watch, you've actually seen it. That's what we're going to find out. We're going to be 1 minute and you'll be like, fuck, I've seen this movie.
This movie. Yeah, I've seen this before. So
were you just last night in the mirror who are you? Who even are you?
I am discovering that in my old age, for some stupid reason, I have been lying to myself my entire life about various horror movies that I have not seen but think I've seen, and various actors who I think that I am very, very familiar with, even though I'm not familiar with them. So I have no idea what's going on. I don't even know who I am anymore, Rachel. I'm probably going to watch Bats.
Dementia.
I'm probably going to watch
memories.
Bats. Yeah. And think this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. Against all common sense. Reverse dementia. Yeah. I am, instead of losing memories, I am now creating this fantasy world in my head where I have seen all of these terrible movies and all these terrible actors. Subspecies sucks, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. It's terrible.
I have warm memories of it, as a slumber party staple. Is it garbage?
It's hot garbage.
Should it stay in my memory, not return?
Here's the thing. I thought I had seen it, and in the memory that apparently I made up, I also thought it sucked. So I guess I went in expecting bad things, and that's what I got. The movie is an hour and 23 minutes. It took me 4 hours to actually get through it, as I was just starting and stopping and going somewhere else. It's awful.
Oh no.
So I'm expecting good things from Bats tonight.
Yes. All right. We are pro Bat. As of this moment, we can be a little cynical. We can be a little, bitter about the things that we watch on here. But we're going into this with an open heart and an open mind.
Yeah. So I thought Rachel had seen this, but it turns out she has not seen this either.
I just know
She
the
just knows the
song.
theme song. So
They're gonna
bats,
get you.
they're gonna get you. They're gonna get you.
They're gonna get you.
I'm looking. I'm looking forward to this? Question mark. Am I looking forward to this, Rachel? I feel like Route 666 left a really bad taste in our mouths last week or
Yeah,
last
I'm
month.
looking forward to this in Terabang.
Okay. I am assuming this is going to be garbage, like an equal level of garbage to Route 666, but I feel like this movie is probably like in on the joke as opposed to Route 666, which I think took itself way too seriously. Like Route 666 thought they were making like high cinema, high art, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was like demon chuds and daddy drama. No.
Daddy drama with mole zombies that can only appear on concrete if when blood gets on it. There were all sorts of bizarre ghost zombie chain gang rules that bullshit movie set. So before we get to it, let's talk about the Stevecast because we failed to like mention what we actually do here. We watch movie, and I've looked at some of the old Stevecasts, and we just like go into it. Like we expect to have such a strong fan base that we don't have to continuously put the rules out there. We do not have that much of a fan base. So typically, like we've been watching movies in 15-minute increments. And some of these movies are getting real long when you break them up into 15-minute chunks. And so I think Rachel, like maybe it was last episode or maybe it was in Discord, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should bump it up to 20-minute chunks to speed things up a little bit. So I think tonight we try that. So I think we're gonna watch Bats. They're gonna get you in 20-minute increments, and every 20 minutes we will pause, discuss the 20 minutes that we just watched. And then just continue to repeat that process until we're done. So that should give us like 5 segments of hopefully quality content. Please be quality content. It's probably not going to be quality content. But I'm ready to do this. I am ready to watch Bats. Rachel, anything else before we start this sure to be masterpiece on Tubi?
Well, I mean, it is the beginning of the Christmas season, so I'm going to start dropping hints about what I want, and it is a Steve cover of the Bats song. I'm just putting it out there.
Bah humbug. Not going to happen. As you've known, like on the Stevecast, I have to be very drunk to sing, and all I'm drinking tonight is water, so it's not going to happen.
Right. I can wait till May. It's fine.
Yeah, that's great. It's fantastic. All right, let's do this. I am ready to go. Rachel, do you have things pulled up?
I do. I got my finger hovering over the play icon.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push play. We are back, and so far this movie's been awesome, right? Like it is so dumb and so campy, but that's exactly what this movie needed to be.
Yes.
So the opening of the film is this like douchebag wannabe cowboy guy, and he's putting the moves on his girlfriend in a car like you do.
Yep.
And then bats burst into the car, and like the one bat like just like headbutts the windshield and cracks it. The bats like destroy the roof of the car and get in there, and somehow bats like manage to throw this guy's body through the windshield. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so good. This movie is in on the joke. This movie knows what it is, and it is it is rolling with it. And so then we cut to Dina Meyer and a guy named Leon. Is that?
Yep. That is the actor's
Dina
name,
Meyer
Leon,
and Leon.
Yeah.
So apparently this actor's name is just Leon. His name in the movie is either like Jimmy or Wesley, and I'm not sure which. I'm just going to call him Leon.
Okay. Because he doesn't look like a Jimmy or a Wesley.
He doesn't,
like, definitely not a Wesley.
But Leon and Dina Meyer are like batologists, and so Leon is like outside of a cave like monitoring things, and Dina Meyer is crawling through a cave to study bats. And all of us and Leon likes the ladies a little bit thick, and he wants them to have all the cheesecake in the world because he likes a curvy lady.
Not all heroes wear capes, okay?
And then suddenly this helicopter approaches, and Rachel and I were discussing like, what is this helicopter? Which way is this movie gonna go? And then it went exactly in the way we wanted it to go.
Yes.
The helicopter lands, and like this very like government agent comes out, and he's basically like,
Yeah.
we
Officer
have a problem.
bureaucrat.
Officer bureaucrat comes out and is like, we have a problem. We need the world's top bat scientist to come help us, and that's you. And so Dina Meyer and Leon get on the helicopter and go to, I don't know, somewhere in Arizona. And finally, our hero LDP shows up, and he's like this, like middle-aged sheriff chomping on a cigar, and he is helping to transport Dina Meyer and Leon to I don't know, the city morgue, where there is just this horribly mutilated body. And Dina Meyer is examining the body, and she pulls out like a bat claw, and she's like, "This is from a bat," but that doesn't make any sense because this particular bat like feeds on like fruit and nectar. What's going on?
Yeah.
But then the evil bureaucrats reveal that, you know, this is actually like the 5th attack, and we see images of various other bodies and dead animals. And then the super mega evil bureaucrat is like, "Yes, we imported these endangered bats from Indonesia and infected them with a this is all the first 20 minutes of the movie."
I mean, it's not light on plot.
It's like we captured these endangered bats from Indonesia and infected them with a virus, and then like they got out and began like either infecting other bats or breeding with them or whatever. And also the virus made them like bigger than normal and more aggressive, and it made them omnivores, so they can eat everything. And then we see like this like map of the United States, and they're showing like this red like cloud expand over it. It's like in 6 months the bats are going to cover the entire United States. It's so terrible, but so good. And so it's like, and so it was like the bats are big, aggressive. They're infected with a virus that can infect other bats. They specifically say the virus can only affect other bats, and I feel like that's there because there's going to be a twist. We're hoping that at some point it infects a human, and we're going to have a man bat situation.
Man bat.
But then like, they go out and find like one more dead body, which at the moment doesn't really do anything. They just needed some more gore in the movie. So after they find the dead body, that's when they show like, you know, the red cloud of bats expanding over this digital map of the United States. And then Dina Meyer is, you know, the head batologist, and she's like, you know, she's very like, I want to protect the bats. The bats are so good, but the only way to stop this is to find the roost and terminate every bat. And she's very sad because she doesn't want to hurt the little baddies.
Yeah.
But then they enact their plan to go and capture all the bats. So they find like a cave where they think the bats are located, and they cover all of the entrances and exits with giant like fish nets, and they're going to catch all the bats. And that's where we're at now. The first 20 minutes, and we've had like an entire movie worth of plot and plot twists. It feels like they're already enacting like their final plan to capture the bats 20 minutes in, which leads me to believe there's going to be some crazy shit going forward, like the next like 70 minutes or whatever we got.
That honestly makes me excited because like this movie could very easily be formulaic, and that would be fine. It is a when animals attack kind of movie, but for them to just be like, okay, so here's the villain, and here's what I did, and here's what we're gonna do, like you said, in the first act, means they are breaking the structure and some wild shit is coming. And like, I really hope you predicted perfectly who was on the helicopter. Like, I was like, this is some like developer who wants to tear down the roof so he can build condos. But you knew they were looking for the world's top batologist.
This is every like nature run amok movie ever. Anytime there is a movie where like the bad guy is just like a normal animal that has gone bad for some reason, it's always like the government agents. They always go out to some scientist in the field, and so some secret agent walks up to the scientist and slowly pulls off his sunglasses and is like, "We're looking for the world's top mongoose expert. Is that you?" And the scientist is like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And the scientist or the government agent is like, there's been a mongoose attack, and the scientist is like,
Mongoose massacre.
mongooses don't attack people, and then the government agent is like, these do, and then the movie starts from that point. It's like, that's what we've got here.
I think, okay, so all the marketing for this movie, because I remember when this came out, it was 1999, so I was not, I was old enough to recognize marketing. Even though I was like, this looks terrible, I'll never watch this. Flash forward to today, and here I am. But you got the sense that this was like an LDP movie, but it is very Dina Meyer forward, and the better for it, because I love her, and I get excited whenever I see her, and it's so rare. I feel like she was great in Johnny Mnemonic. She was great in not Universal. I keep trying to call it Universal Soldier.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, and I did not realize she was in this, or I probably would have seen it sooner.
Yeah. This is a movie that I remember it coming out. I never watched it. As I said in the last episode, I think like this came out just a couple of years off from Route 666. I think I just got these confused because the locations are very similar. Both of these movies have like LDP as some sort of law enforcement officer, like down in like Dirt Pit, Texas. But this one is I'm into it. This movie, we haven't heard the theme song yet. I'm looking forward to the theme song.
I think it's the closing song. We're going to get the bats.
All right. I'm all in. This 20 minutes has been so much fun. This is such a breath of fresh air compared to the last movie. I am going to boldly predict that at the end of this episode, Bats will be my favorite Lou Diamond Phillips movie of all time. And then I'm not going to watch anything else he has done because I don't want to ruin the image that I have.
Go out on top. Go out on top, my friend.
No, this has been super, super fun. I am very happy with this movie so far. It is terrible, trashy garbage, but that's exactly what it needed to be.
Agree. Totally agree. This is a fun one.
So I don't know. It feels like we've already got an entire movie's worth of plot. Yeah. I don't know where they're going to go from here. I'm hoping it's just fucking wild.
Yeah. Do we think we're going to get a romance between Dina and LDP?
It's got to be.
Right?
No, I would have assumed in Route 666 that they probably would have set something up between Lori Petty and him, but so maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong here. I mean, if you got the chance to hit on Dina Meyer, you may as well, right?
Yeah, get into it.
Obviously.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just a life lesson from us at the Stevecast to you. Should you have the opportunity, slide into them DMs.
Exactly. I'm ready to watch another 20 minutes. I hope all of you listening to this right now are following along. If not, pause this video right now and pull up Bats and watch the first 20 minutes. And when you're ready, let's push play. I am hitting play right now.
Steve! Wow. This movie is good. Wow. How dare it be this good?
I know. This is incredible. Everything that we want to happen is happening in this movie.
And shit that I didn't dare to hope for. I didn't have the audacity to hope for.
Like all of the physical bat puppet props, they're so good.
I thought it was going to be all terrible CGI bats. I was not expecting bat puppetry. I could not be happier with our selection today.
Yeah, this is great. So this 20 minutes, this incredible 20 minutes starts with LDP and Dina Meyer are having a heart-to-heart on a bridge somewhere. They've got all their nets set up. I'm starting to think that the nets weren't to catch them. It was just like to force them out of one exit point of this mountain. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, this is really the one plot hole so far is what's up with the net.
Yeah, they put up a bunch of nets that, as far as I can tell, did nothing unless they were intended to just like force them all out of one like mountain exit. I don't know. It doesn't matter. LDP and Dina Meyer are like on a bridge. They're having a heart to heart, and he's like, "Why do you like bats so much?" And she's like, "Oh, do you see this pendant? This is the Chinese symbol for bats. And when I was a kid, I was afraid of bats. And then one day my dad caught a bat and made me hold it, and it was the kindest, gentlest thing that I've ever seen. The idea of killing a bat, it just I hate it. I can't stand it."
She's not going to like the next 20 minutes of this movie.
Because then suddenly all of the bats come out of the mountain, and all of the bats, like a cloud, just cloud of bats forms, and it like chases them down the bridge, and they run into LDP's like sheriff SUV, and they shut the doors and they close all the windows, and all the bats swarm on the SUV, and they're like, oh no, the bats are trying to get into the car, cover the vents. And Rachel and I are both like, how are the bats going to get into the car? And then there's a scene where a bat crawls into the muffler of the car and starts crawling into the car, and they're like, no, the bats are getting into the engine, the bats are getting into the engine. And then the bats start coming out of like the air conditioning vents.
Yes. They have to fight it with a cigarette lighter.
Yes. Random holes are forming in this SUV, and bats are coming through them. And so they've got the cigarette lighter. At one point, LDP just puts a gun to the bat's head and pulls the trigger, and they call for help from Leon and Deputy Wesley. And yes. Leon and Deputy Wesley show up, and Leon's like, fire a shot off to get their attention. And so, Deputy Wesley like just puts his gun out of the car, doesn't even fire the shot, just puts his gun out of the car, and the bats recognize the threat because they all stop. And in one motion, they all turn their head, and these beady little yellow eyes all look at Leon and Deputy Wesley. And they swarm their car. The bats then go and swarm this other car, but ultimately they just flee. I don't really know why they flee, but they just go up into the sky and they leave. And so then everyone gets out of their cars, and they're okay. We survived. Let's regroup. And there's a bat that was trapped under the tire of the SUV. And so they capture it, and they put a tracker on it, and their plan is to like let it go. It'll go back to the roost, and that will lead them to where the rest of the bats are. But then the bats in this movie are super smart. They know how to get into engines, right? They're recognize
like sitting on the roof watching, being very sinister, and like
there's two like bat puppets on the roof just staring down LDP and Dina Meyer. And so when they release this bat with a tracker, the other bats go and kill it. They recognize this bat is now a threat. And so, the evil bureaucrat shows up, and everyone's like, what do we do? What do we do? Well, we have to evacuate the town, and we have to evacuate every town within 100 miles of here. And so and shockingly, the bureaucrats are like, all right, yeah, let's evacuate the town. But it's Texas. So Texas does not take any sort of warnings seriously. And so they go back to the town.
Not any bat virus warnings.
Yeah, no, it's weird how this movie about like virus infected bats is, Texas not taking it seriously. Like LDP and Dina Meyer show up, and these Texans are not wearing bat masks. They are not social distancing. They are doing nothing. They are pretending like this plague doesn't exist. Weird, right? Where did they get this idea from? But then the bats attack the town. And this is amazing. There are so many shots of bats just doing random shit in the town. There's like the world's ugliest baby, and a bat flies into its crib, and so we don't know what's going to happen. But the bat's going to eat this baby, which I'm very about. I'm here for it. A woman is like taking laundry down because it's Texas, and the women fold the clothes there, and a bat attacks her. The bats swarm this town. Sheriff or Deputy Wesley dies because he's chased by bats into like a bar, and the window breaks, and all the bats just go and like fly onto like the pool table, and they just stare at him, and he starts firing shots, and he ends up dying. Dina Meyer.
Well, they like razzle dazzle and distract him so that the other bats can creep up and crawl up his back.
There's a lot of really stealthy bats in this episode, or this segment. There's a guy like eating dinner at a bar, and this bat just creeps up on him and attacks him. A bat chases Dina Meyer into a pharmacy and is like sneaking around, and she only notices it because of the mirror. LDP and some random person that he's with are hiding under the SUV, and he's just shooting these bat puppets out of the sky. A building explodes for no particular reason. And then like Rachel and I were like, this is giving us really like Blob vibes, like, and then a bunch of people run into a theater, so we're probably going to get some weird like bat interaction with the screen. This is incredible. This movie is so entertaining. It's fucking stupid, but it's the right kind of stupid. It's just these these amazing looking bat puppets are attacking people within this town. And the bats are smart. They know how to get into a vehicle and disable the engine. They know how to blow up buildings. They know how to knock on a door and then hide behind the door when someone opens the door and then attacks them when the door shuts. Amazing. I am so into this movie. This is great. For all the wrong reasons, this is great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm having so much fun with the stupidity of this movie. I mean, like, I know I started off this talking about it, but the puppety bats just take this from, like, you know, to a whole other level. The design of them, the actual acting of them creeping in their little mouths are exactly the kind of camp I want for this, and had not expected on any level. I thought we were going to be dealing with them like sci-fi animal attacks, like Sci-Fi Channel level, where it's just like terrible CGI and maybe some stock footage. Oh, no. They have puppets in this thing, and it is excellent. And like, this movie gets it. Like, when he's blowing away the bats from underneath the car, it's so absurd. We're like, you don't get to hear all of the in-between sections, but you and I are just like roaring, like laughing. We're just dying with laughter throughout this entire section because it is hitting the exact right camp. No, how is this movie so fun? This movie should be horrendous and a waste of our time, and I'm delighted to be doing this today.
It's in on the joke. Like, that's what it is. Like, there are bad movies that know they're bad and have fun with it, and there are bad movies that try to be super serious, and this one got it right. This one knows that it is a cheesy horror movie, and it's doing all of the things that it needs to do. Like that moment when all of the bats, like when Deputy Wesley puts his gun out of the car and all the bats just stop and turn their head and look at him. Like, we lost it. We fucking lost it. Amazing.
It's like that scene from 28 Days Later where the zombies all pop up, except for it's puppety bats with glowing yellow eyes being like, Murr? It's so stupid. And I like didn't want to hit pause. I wanted to keep going.
Yeah, we both ran late because we were just like we were engrossed in this movie. Like, we have like 3 segments left. We're 40 minutes in.
How? We have done the
please.
climax of 2 animal attack movies in the first 40 minutes. Where is this going? Like you said, I hope this movie keeps this energy throughout because it is wild.
It would be so... Bats, please, LDP, like, you know, we're bros now. Don't let us down. Don't take your foot off the gas. We need. So I imagine this is going to be like, you know, Rachel also in kind of behind the scenes here compared this to like Tremors, and there was that moment in Tremors where everyone is just like sheltering in place. They're all on the roofs of their houses trying to figure out what do we do next. What do we do next? I think that's what's coming here. It's got to be that segment, right? Where like things get a little quiet. The bats are all over the town, and the survivors are in these buildings trying to figure out like what is our next move. And then one of the heroes are going to have some sort of epiphany on how to, if not defeat the bats, then how to like escape from them. I think that's what's coming next.
Somebody's going to have like an echolocation epiphany, right? Like they're going to use echolocation against these bats. And will they explode? That's what I want to know. Are we going to have like some sort of like sonic bat explosion again?
They've mentioned echolocation at multiple times at this point, and the bats make this like clicking predator noise when they use echolocation in this. It is so good. It is so
we're still rooting for
delightful.
Exploding bats and man bat. Those are the 2 things we're hoping for still. And then maybe a child carried away on the wings of a pack of ravenous bats.
That was an ugly baby. And I hope that carries
You were
away.
shook by that child. It's probably the director's
so
kid.
ugly.
Yeah.
I'm ready for more. Are we ready to push play?
Yeah, let's get into it. I'm like ready to get into it.
Push. Okay. I'm 6 seconds ahead, so I'm pushing play.
Oh, I'm 3 seconds ahead. So give me 3 seconds.
All right, I'll give you 3 seconds.
All right.
What a
Another
movie.
20 minutes of bats.
Ah. So this is kind of this 20 minutes is kind of like it's setting up the conclusion. And
Yes.
so the beginning of this 20 minutes is just like the end of the previous attack. Um, Lots of people are dying to the bats. Dina Meyer is under attack, and like I guess the good bureaucrat like sacrifices himself to save her, and so good bureaucrat is dead. And then
No.
there is no, like, we were predicting like a shelter in place segment, and that's not
Yeah.
what happened. Instead, the sun
Mm-mm.
comes up, and so the bats have to fly away. And so now it's prep time. The town actually evacuates this time. The Texans finally listen and take heed of the evacuation notice. And so now the military rolls in, and the military wants to just go and blow up all the bats. And
Right. Of
so, our heroes are like, no, that's
course.
not going to work. We have to come up with another plan. And so their plan is there's a spy satellite, obviously. And so when the spy satellite passes, this is so
They're like,
fucking stupid.
Officer Podunk,
Yes,
there is a top secret spy satellite you might find helpful in this scenario.
yes.
Just in time for the animatronic bat to descend upon you. Just in
Uh,
case.
yes, Lou Diamond Phillips has that kind of pull. He calls the government. The government's like, yeah, obviously we have a spy satellite. So the next time it flies over Texas, we will try to get an image of where the bats are hiding. And so our heroes, Lou Diamond Phillips and Dina Meyer and Leon and the obviously evil bureaucrat, they're like they're like
The sweatiest bureaucrat.
very sweaty bureaucrat. He takes his glasses off very slow, and then he bureaucrats.
Yes.
But the four survivors are like, the location scout found a school, and so now the finale of our movie is going to take place in a school. So they go into this school, and
Yeah.
and they fortify it. They get a bunch of chain link fence, and they build like a barrier, and they electrify it, and they basically cover all of the entrances and exits of this school. And this is where they're going to hang out. I have no idea why they're in the school or why they felt the need to barricade, because their plan is to go after the bats, not have the bats come after them. But then we also see what I assume is going to be the Chekhov's gun, because
Yeah.
LDP, he's not just this stupid podunk sheriff. He's
Oh,
actually
no.
very deep. He's a very deep and layered character who likes to listen to, I don't know, fucking
Satellite hookup.
orchestras and symphonies,
Opera. Mm-hmm.
opera. And so he's piping this opera music through the intercom system at this school, and I'm assuming that's gonna somehow tie in to how they beat the bats, because Leon looks at the speakers when the opera is playing, and he kind of gets this look like, like there's a plan brewing in there.
Uh-huh.
But we're not there yet. They're going to try to beat the bats. They're trying to figure out how to beat the bats, and they get the idea that we can put them to sleep, because bats hibernate at a certain temperature and they freeze to death at an even lower temperature. And so they call the military, and they're like, "Hey, do you have a way to freeze bats?" And the military's like, "Yeah, let us airlift it to you." And so the military just drops off these crates of things that can be used to like quickly freeze stuff. And so evil bureaucrat is going to do nothing, but Jimmy is going to monitor things, and Lou Diamond Phillips and Dina Meyer are going to put on like these like Kevlar protection suits and take these magical freeze units into the mines where the bats are apparently hiding, because they think that that the spy satellite passes overhead, and they're Leon's like, "What's going on there? There's no caves there. That can't be where the bats are." And Lou Diamond Phillips says, "Well, there's mines there. There's man-made mines, and so we're gonna go into the mines and freeze the bats with our magical freeze unit that the military airlifted to us once we were done with their spy satellite." Do you follow along here? Because that's what's going on in this movie.
Yes. But there's a
and
twisty twist. There's a twisty twist.
Yes. The evil bureaucrat's like, "That's not going to work. They're going to see you coming. They're going to know what you're planning." So the evil bureaucrat has made these bats so intelligent that presumably these bats know what the humans' plans are, and they're going to somehow like protect themselves from this.
This is the Deep Blue Sea moment. Like, that's what's happening. We're just hitting all the notes.
But before the heroes can even enact their plan, the military decides, we're just going to kill the bats. The military is there in
scientists,
force. And people, they like the heroes like tell the military, hey, we have this plan. We're going to go like freeze the bats, and this military guy is like, no, we're not going to allow that. We're going to kill them ourselves. Like the evil bureaucrat, he works for us. He created these bats as a weapons project. Every like sci-fi plot ever where it was like a military weapons experiment gone wrong. That's what we've got in this movie. Mr. Military called up the evil bureaucrat and says, hey, we got some bats here. Can you do anything with the bats? And Mr. Bureaucrat said, yes, absolutely. I can infect them with a virus that will make them omnivorous and super smart and like very cool looking. They will look awesome. They'll sneak around like these bats. These bats are going to be your super soldiers. And the Mr. Military guy is like, yes, thank you, Mr. Evil Bureaucrat. Sure, Mr. Evil Bureaucrat person. That's exactly what we wanted. And the military is like, we created these bats. We are going to stop them. And the heroes are like, let's wait for dawn. Wait for daylight again because another day has passed. Let's wait for daylight, and all the bats will hide in their cave. And Mr. Military guy is like, absolutely not. We're going to fight them now at nighttime. And they begin assembling these like giant Gatling gun weapons, and then the bats attack, and that's where we're stopped. Wow. So fucking stupid, but so awesome at the same time. This movie is like every just ridiculous like evil military and sci-fi and nature run amok movie. This is like a greatest hits version of that plot, and it is
indeed the greatest hits because it is all working together. All the ingredients are working together, and God help me, I'm invested in the story. Like it is camp and silly and we're laughing at the ridiculous moments, but like this movie has got me.
Yes. I want to know what happens. I want to know how they beat the bats. I assume that they're going to like go into the mines with these magical freeze rays that they have. But
this is the aliens moment where they have to go in and get nuked. Like that is what we've entered that portion of the film.
But something is going to go wrong. And so they're going to have to retreat back to the school where they have fortified themselves. And then evil bureaucrat is going to
Bat queen.
I'm still hoping for the man bat, but I will accept a giant bat queen. My cat also litter boxed in the background. So and hopefully you all enjoyed seeing that. I don't know where this is going. I'm sure it's going to be very stupid and it's going to be very derivative of every other like evil military industrial complex makes a super weapon and that super weapon escapes movie that you've ever seen. And I am here for it. This 100%. Movie is in on the joke, and that's exactly the kind of movie it needed to be. So fucking dumb, but also so entertaining. And it's been like, is this the second best movie that we watched on the Stevecast? Like, I still don't know. I don't know that this is as good as Highway to Hell, but this is still really good.
Like, Highway to Hell gets the edge because it actually is super, super original in ways that like we did, all of the use of like mythology and stuff like that. But like, if I was going to throw on a movie to like have drinks and munch popcorn with a group of friends and laugh, like this is the one I would watch because it's not just silly and fun. It's actually entertaining as well. And usually those movies tend to be ones that are really, really stupid. And you're like this, at some point, the sort of joke wears off. This one, like I'm into the movie as well. And so it's like you get the best of both worlds with this. This is a perfect group watch. I like top tier group watch. It's so silly. It's very, very funny. And I could not be happier every time there is a bat on screen.
Those
and like when they showed up again,
amazing.
I was like, yes, they're back. And they're immediately absurd in all of the best ways. They must be building towards something. Like there has to be like an end of arachnophobia thing. There's got to be like a giant bat or something in those mines. It can't just be a lot of bats in the mine, right? Like there has
I
to be
hope not.
something in
There's
those
got to be some
mines.
sort of like bat boss creature. Like I'm
Yes.
losing hope that there's going to be a man bat. I am hopeful that there will be some sort
He
of
did take
boss
off his
bat.
glasses though. He did.
And
And I'm
he
like, yeah,
takes
you
off
don't
his
need them
glasses and
anymore.
he's very sweaty.
Yeah, those are two signs of someone like that's like clinical. Like two signs of man bat transition is you don't need your glasses anymore and you get very sweaty.
The bats themselves have so much personality in this movie.
Right.
It's
Yes.
like they're not just like mindless animals,
They're
which is what you
gremlinsy.
would get with like a Lake Placid or something like that, which we've also like referenced in our behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like you can tell what the bats are thinking when they quickly turn their head and stare at you with their beady little yellow eyes.
Yeah. They're like mean little fuckers. Like they're not just, animals doing what animals do. Like they have autonomy and self-awareness. And they are gonna get you.
I'm still waiting for that theme song, but
I think it's the credit song. Yeah.
I'm 100% invested in this movie. This has been such a fun time. Anything else before we hit play on the next to last segment?
No, because he's about to lay out like like we thought that he did an info dump and like an exposition dump at the beginning, but like sweaty soon to be man bat is just like warming up for like the realty, and I want to know what it is.
All right, well then let's do it. Let's push play right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, paused exactly on time. Steve.
Is that a new feeling for you, being exactly on time?
Yes. It hurts because it's true.
Wow. Movie
Wow.
continues to be amazing. So at the end of the last segment, the military got attacked, and then the evil scientist guy was revealing his master plan. He had no master plan. He just really likes these bats and wants to save them. He has gone completely crazy and believes that he can control them. And so he tells the heroes that your plan's not going to work, and I know it's not going to work because I somehow summoned all of the bats here. And so the bats attack the school, but not before cutting the power. And so like the electrified chain link fences that have been set up no longer work. And so LDP like just knocks out the evil scientist bureaucrat, and now the bats are trying to break into the school. LDP goes to turn on a generator to try to like get the electrified fence back up, and that leaves Leon and Dina Meyer to fight off the bats with guns and also a fire extinguisher, and also paradoxically a flamethrower. So they're just hitting it from both sides. They're trying to like freeze and fry them at the same time. Eventually, LDP does get the generator going, and so the chain link fence gets electrified again, which chases all the bats away. But not before some amazing shots of these bat puppets trying to gnaw on the chain link fence. There's one big shot where there's just like bats in the background, like these puppets that are not moving whatsoever, but it still looks awesome. A bat bites Leon. It ultimately does nothing. But evil scientist guy then like goes outside, and he's like, "Look, the bats want me because I can control them." And then the bats potentially kill him? Question mark. Like they bite his ear off, and then they swarm his body. So is he dead? Is he gonna pop back up? I don't know. I'm losing hope for both the man bat or the big like boss bat of some sort.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know if the movie actually needs that because it's been amazing without such thing. I'm still hopeful, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, definitely.
But I don't need it. I want it, but I don't need it.
Yep. So the bats.
I mean, we've seen every other body. Like we've seen the military people. We saw Officer Wesley. We've seen every other body, but they did not show us the evil scientist's body. So that
And yeah,
it gives me hope.
and the bats leave after killing him question mark. And
Right.
and Dina Meyer's like, well, they left because they got what they wanted. But like, why did they want him? Because there's an extended shot of like the bats swarming his body.
Right.
Are they eating him? Are they transforming him? I have no idea. But the bats leave, and so now it's the next morning, and so the heroes are going to enact their plan. And so I think in the last segment I said that the military like airdropped like a freeze rays to the school. I was wrong. What they actually dropped off were like these Kevlar suits. The actual refrigeration, the actual like freeze unit, is what the military was assembling in the last segment before they were killed by the bats. And so the heroes go to the mine and they're like, wow, the military actually tried to fight bats at night. That's fucking dumb because all the military is dead. The military succeeded in lowering the freeze unit into the mine, but they didn't get to turn it on. And so LDP grabs a walkie-talkie and he talks to a military commander somewhere else. And the military commander's like, in 62 minutes, the military is just going to like bomb everything in that area. And LDP and Dina Meyer like, no, that's not going to work. All the bombing is going to do is scatter them, and once they scatter, we'll never be able to catch them all. We'll never be able to stop them. You know, like the world is going to end if these bats get away. But you know, military is going to military. They're like, no, fuck it, we're doing it. We're dropping the bombs. And so now the heroes are. We have 62 minutes to get down there and turn on this freeze ray thing to stop the bats. And so they suit up. It's very like Aliens-esque, where they've got these big padded suits on. They've got like headlamps and cameras on, and so Leon is monitoring them over the little screens he has set up. And Dina Meyer tells him like, hey, you know, if we don't make it out of here, you have to set off the bombs the military already set to like seal the entrances. Like, you know, even if we don't manage to freeze them, we can at least trap them in here. Which, if that was an option, you think they could have just done that, but whatever. I'm not gonna poke holes in this high art form that we've got here.
Right.
But there is like there's a time limit. Like the Dina Meyer and LDP have to get back out of the mine by X time, otherwise Leon is going to have to push the button and trap them in there, and then he's going to have to escape before the air raid happens. And so Dina Meyer and LDP, they go into the mines, and they're immediately like, oh, this map sucks. Like there's two tunnels, and then they're like, the map only has one tunnel. Like the map had one job and it failed at it. But LD, you know, the Dina Meyer is a batologist, but LDP is a possumologist. And so he's like, you see that over there? Those are possum skeletons. The bats must have drugged them in here as an in-flight snack. So therefore, we follow the possum bones and we will find the bats. And so they go down this tunnel, and then like the ground collapses and they fall into like a river of bat shit. And LDP is very offended that he is now like chest deep in bat shit.
As you would be. I
don't blame him here. His feelings are valid in this scenario. They follow the batshit river to like, and they find the bat nest, the roost, and the refrigeration unit is there, and all they have to do is turn it on, and they succeed in turning it on, but not before the bat puppets start like really eye fucking them and looking very menacingly, just and so
true,
the bats begin their attack, and Dina Meyer is like, you know, Leon, you got to set off the bombs, you gotta trap us in here, you know, we're not gonna make it out. And Leon's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. You got 30 minutes to get back up here. And meanwhile, like the bats continue to just like pile on LDP and Dina Meyer while they're within this river of shit. So they've managed to turn on the refrigeration unit. They have not managed to escape yet. And that is where we are at now. Movie continues to be awesome.
It does continue to be awesome. And now, obviously, it could still go off the rails. There is about 5-ish minutes left of this movie. But I have underestimated this movie on every single level. Like, I didn't think it was going to be very good. I did not expect there to be bat puppets. I did not expect it to be fun and surprise me and to do entertain me in the ways it has. But I was sure there would be a love connection. I was sure that it was going to fall into all of these shitty tropes that also kind of are a part of these kinds of movies. Like there would be a lot of casual like misogyny in it and like a lot of jokes at the woman's expense. And none of that is literally none of that has happened. And we're in the climactic scene. And one of my biggest pet peeves of anytime you bring in like this woman who is incredibly skilled, knowledgeable, like arguably the person who is your main character that should lead the action. There's always a situation in these movies where in the final act, she gets pushed aside so that the hero can complete his hero's journey, like using her to get to that place, and then he becomes the heroic person and she might even get damseled, you know? There's 5 minutes left. It could still happen, but I'm ready to give this movie the benefit of the doubt. I can't believe I'm saying it, but here we are. I got real worried when I thought for a second they were going to kill her off earlier in the film, and they didn't do it. So I kind of fucking love this movie unironically.
Yeah, so far LDP and Dina Meyer have been like equally heroic. Like they've saved each other multiple times. Their areas of expertise. You know, she's a batologist, he's a possumologist. Like they're both
complement
getting like
each other.
Yeah. So far, there is no like damsel in distress. There's no like superfluous like love story going on here. Their goal has been to fight the bats, and they have been fighting the bats, and they've both had equal parts in fighting the bats. Like this movie, Bats, 1999, like breaking barriers here.
What the hell? What the hell?
This hidden gem of a movie
who
that apparently is only known for its theme song.
I mean, that's all I would never have watched this movie. Never, if it was not for you and the Stevecast. I wouldn't, like, for what?
You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
No, I mean, no, I'm sorry. I mean, obviously, there are 5 minutes, and I have definitely seen movies go off the rail in 5 minutes and broken my heart. But if this thing stays the course, I mean, Hidden Gem is correct.
I'm here for
Controversial. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, I have nothing else to say. Like, this movie has just been action-packed from the beginning. There's not a lot to discuss. All we can do is just describe the amazing things that we've seen. Folks, I hope you have been following us along on this journey, because this is the end. According to Tubi, this movie is 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 12 seconds long. We are at the hour and 20 minutes mark. This is the final segment. If you have not been following along with us, pause the video, go back and watch it, get to 120, and then return.
Get into it. Let's close this out strong together. Yes. All
right. Bats.
All right.
Don't fuck this up. I am pushing play now. We are back. We have finished Bats. Rachel lied to me about there being this amazing Bats theme song. Rachel, where's the theme song? You have a lot of explaining
I don't know.
Right now.
I swear to God, I have this clear memory of the Bats theme song. I swear. And it was like this super kind of corny 90s song. I'm so sad. Did I make it up? Did I Steve it into existence? I don't know.
Your homework is to find this, because I did some quick digging through YouTube, and I saw a lot of things called Bats theme, and none of them had lyrics about how the bats are going to get you. But the final 5 to 7 to 8-ish minutes of this film, the heroes continue to be attacked by bats. There unfortunately is no like man bat or boss bat of any sort. It's just the normal bat puppets, and then they're still great. These bats are taking it personally that LDP and Dina Meyer have turned on the refrigeration unit, and they are attacking. And so LDP has a bat on his back. I think the bat pulls out the oxygen tube going to his helmet at one point, because he's forced to like take his helmet off to breathe. Meanwhile, Dina Meyer grabs her gun and starts shooting at the bat, and this bat like tanks like 2 or 3 bullets, and then LDP like lights a flare and shoves it into the bat's head, and so the bat's on fire and it's still not dead. What ultimately kills it is 80s lightning out of nowhere. I don't know where this came from. Like, did she?
It's amazing.
She apparently at some point like shot some sort of electrical cord, and it hits the water, and 80s lightning pops up and kills some of the bats. So LDP and Dina Meyer escape. They're running through the tunnels to get out, and right as they hit the exit, Leon explodes the entrance to the mines, and LDP confirms that that's it. That's the one entrance to the mines. So I feel like they could have just done that, and the bats would have eventually starved to death. But they've got like two. They've hit them from both sides now. They've sealed the mine, and all the bats left in the in the mine are going to freeze to death now. LDP and Leon and Dina Meyer are gonna like ride off into the sunset as the heroes. They call the military and convince the military to not drop the bombs, and the military agrees. And then we're like, where's the twist? Where's the twist? Something's gonna happen here. And then we see this bat like digging itself out of the dirt, and we're thinking, all right, this bat's just gonna like get out and screech, and that's gonna be the credits. But no, the twist to the twist, like it gets run over with a car. So the final bat has been run over by LDP's police SUV, and that's the end of the movie. We sat through the credits hoping for the theme song, and it never came.
Listen, anybody out there, I know other people remember this. If you can find the freaking Bats theme song, send it to us, because I don't think I made this up. I have a memory of it. Like, it's a thing. I mean, I guess it's possible. 1999 was a long time ago, but why would I remember bats are going to get you? Like, I can remember hearing it, and I remember the
Google that. Bats, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Did they wipe it from the internet? Maybe like they don't have the like rights to it. I don't know. It's a thing. Citizens of the internet, citizen sleuths of the internet, help me find this song, because I swear to God, it's a thing. Anyway, but what do we think about this movie?
Movie is
my opinion remains
incredible.
Unchanged. Yeah, it's money. It's so good, and it's good in the bad way, and it's good in just the entertainment value. It's way better than I was expecting. I thought we would be like a little dead inside at the end of this, like we normally are at Stevecast. But I feel invigorated. I feel alive.
It's so good. It's so stupid, but it's stupid in all of the right ways. Like, I cannot imagine if this movie had tried to take itself seriously. Like, it knows what it is, and the movie has the appropriate tone from beginning to end, and it is great. The puppet, like the bat puppets, the physical puppets are great. The CG that's in the movie is like charmingly bad. Like, when they yell, they hype up how smart the bats are, and so like when the bats attack, and they're like, the bats are getting into the engine, the bats cut the power. Hilarious. There are so many times behind the scenes where Rachel and I just like burst into laughter at the sheer like absurdity of what we are seeing in this film. Film is great. This is so much fun. If you watched along with us, hopefully you agree with us on all this. If you did not watch it, if you're just listening to us for some dumb reason, get some friends together and watch this film. It is fantastic in all of the wrong/right ways. Yeah.
Something I never thought I would do on the Stevecast. I am recommending a movie. Go watch Bats.
And then watch Highway to Hell.
We've got two.
We have two legitimately good things that we've watched on the Stevecast now. Yeah. Don't watch Route 66. I am, I feel like let me rank all of the LDP movies that I've ever seen. Yeah. Bats is number 1, and Route 666 is number 2. End of list.
Wow.
Because I haven't seen anything else.
Wait, wasn't he also in isn't that the, oh no, that's a totally separate Steve. Okay, sorry. For some reason, I thought the vampire movie you watched had him in it for some reason. I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a week.
Subspecies?
Yes. Only because I was blending the two stories. I got it now. Like I was blending. There was blending. Okay. So now my question is, okay, I know at the beginning of this, you said you were like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie and then I'm retiring from Lou Diamond Phillips because I want to, this is going to be the best movie. But it was more like because that other one was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
This one was actually good. So does that mean that the embargo is still on, or did this earn him further viewings?
I mean, you're the one that told me that this movie existed. So if you tell me, hey, there's another LDP movie out there that is like on par with Bats, I would listen. But man, like, I mean, what if you ruin it? What if I'm at like the highest of highs for LDP and then you bring me back down here?
Like there are more serious movies, but I don't know that there's any more fun movies than what we just experienced. So that would be a risk.
Yeah, I'm willing to have my mind changed, but right now I want to leave LDP on the top of the mountain that I have him on right now, because this is great. This movie is so much fun, shockingly so. Like, I expected this to be better than Route 666. I did not expect this to be like legitimately like entertaining and fun.
Yeah.
This is just like a master class in ridiculous sci-fi movie nature run amok tropes, and it's great. It does everything right. I cannot say enough good things about this movie. Man, it would be like really embarrassing to have agreed to been on this cast and then not show up, right? We love you, Borp.
Oh, Borp, you blew it on this one, buddy. That's okay. That's okay. We'll find another fun one for Borp to be on.
We will,
because we need to get him on here. But like you missed out on, like, you can't experience this. Like, this was a friend bonding moment.
Yeah, Rachel and I are closer now because we experienced this. Like, we're gonna have like so many Bats in jokes that no one else is gonna get. Right? Like our friends group missed out. That's their loss.
They blew it. That's their loss.
We have Bats now. Rachel, you and me, we have Bats.
You and me, number 1 and 2 Bats fans. So do we need to get Bats t-shirts? I feel like we need Bats.
I would get a Bats t-shirt.
Hell yeah.
But that's it. We're done. Another Stevecast in the bag. I think watching these in 20-minute increments worked. We'll see how that works going forward. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Hope you followed along. If you didn't, then I hope you are now inspired to go watch Bats. That's it. I don't know how to do intros on this. Bye.
Bye, everybody.